Hello Internet, I'm JLxRWBY, and I'm finally getting around to doing this. So a trailer came out for the second part of the RWBY Justice League crossover movie. I still can't believe I'm saying that. And considering I did this for the first part, I figured, why not do it again here, where I just go over the trailer, talk about some stuff, give my thoughts, and maybe speculate on some stuff that may or may not be in the movie. And if you're wondering why this video took me so long to do, it's kind of a mixture of laziness, having to still treat a little something, not having any kind of pressure of like some kind of deadline, like a death battle video, which is what my audience know me for most. I kind of have to get them out like right away. But given the view difference between those and the RWBY videos, I don't really feel a need to rush, as sad as that is to say. And the trailer opens up on Grimm attacking Earth, and the Justice League have a new addition in the form of Black Canary. And now we get her reaction to finding out which of many Justice League villains were responsible for putting them in Remnant.
Kilgore.
Really? Really?
Meanwhile, my introduction to Kilgore in the first movie was...
Who?
Yeah, seriously, part 1 was the first time I've ever heard of him. I'd never seen him brought up by literally anyone I know. Never saw him mentioned in anything I'd watched. Never even heard him requested for Death Battle. And there's a lot of DC characters I know next to nothing about, but are more recognizable just from the fact I've seen them requested. Kilgore, I had no clue. And as we get this panning shot of the Justice League, we see what looks like the simulation is still a thing, which I have so many questions about it. All the whilst talking about Kilgore and how he was working with someone. Yeah, in the first part they confirmed that Kilgore was working with someone from Remnant. Still don't know who that is. I have a couple ideas, but they claim it was someone smarter and stronger, whilst we see some Grimm in test tubes and walking up to... I want to say that's another Kilgore body, but I don't know. I have 2 ideas for who this could be, but we'll get to that later. We get our first look at the RWBY girls, and they are in their regular outfits while on Earth. I'll be calling back to this in a little bit. And we get a reunion between RWBY and Superman, and okay, this hug. That is just precious, and I love it. I'm just so happy, like, how excited RWBY is to see him again, because, honestly, with how their relationship was in the first movie, and all the talks about leadership and everything that Clark was giving to RWBY, like, I'm excited to see more of these two. And hey, now we get to see what Superman sounds like post-puberty.
Here, it's Superman.
I think I want to sleep on a bed made of your voice.
And as the trailer goes on, we get to see Yang, who is surprised that she can shoot fire out of her hands, which, okay, that fire, super pretty. I like it a lot. And RWBY swings around a scythe, and before anyone commenting, what did they do to Crescent Rose? That's not even Crescent Rose. And I'll get to what I mean by that right after I talk about Blake with freaking shadow wings. Oh! Like, okay, so Team RWBY are getting like some kind of like powers whilst they're on Earth, as opposed to their semblances, and to me it looks like Blake can just like take shadows and like make constructs out of them, like wings, fire them as projectiles, and she's basically like a shadow lantern. Man, like, if I wasn't excited for the movie like already, just show me this alone. Like, that would elevate my hype to a point you have no idea. And of course I will address, yes, it is weird seeing Blake without her Kayas, but honestly, doesn't look as bad in motion. So, it's still weird, and yeah, please, give us a scene of, like, Blake realizing they're gone. Like, that alone has some hilarious potential. And, building on what I said about RWBY Scythe, Notice how Blake has a bow staff and a sword, which just so happen to belong to Deathstroke. So, a few things. One, Deathstroke is going to show up in this movie, the girls are going to kick his ass, and Blake is going to yoink his gear. Or possibly Blake's going to do it by herself, I don't know. Two, whilst that is Deathstroke's gear, maybe the Justice League have it, like, confiscated, just in, like, some vault, and while the RWBY girls need weapons, they just open that up and just be like, hey, we got you covered. Or three, it's literally just meant to be a cool reference and we're not supposed to think about it that much. And that scythe RWBY has belongs to Scarecrow. So, yeah. Those aren't their weapons transformed. It's just them using DC villain weapons. And before I go any further, while still on RWBY Girl designs, I love the outfits in this movie more than I did in these comics. They look fine, but honestly, Yang looks like a discount Wonder Woman villain, and Blake looks like she ordered a Catwoman cosplay off of eBay, and then it showed up and it was shit. RWBY's is okay, and actually, yeah, Weiss's is the best. But the designs in this movie, I can tell they were clearly inspired by those, but honestly, I think they are so much better. And as the trailer goes on, we find out that the Grimm are changing while they're on Earth. Now, in the first part, they were like absorbing dust and becoming stronger, but here they seem to be adapting to the Justice League and gaining attributes of their weaknesses, including just having a big chunk of kryptonite on their skin. Okay, we see some more team-up shots, and this shot of everyone in a circle. Okay, a few things to unpack. One, the world is glitching, so they still in a simulation? Like, because we've given how this is being presented, I don't know what is a simulation and what isn't. Which I'm not even going to spend too long thinking about it. The movie's coming out in a couple months. I'll get answers in that. The RWBY girls are still in their regular outfits, and their appearances haven't been changed, so these crossovers by Kingdom Hearts logic, where your appearance changes depending on the world you go to, that would explain a lot. And finally, who's that? You can only see them for a split second, but I cannot make out who that is. Like, the head makes me want to say what? Which I'll get to that in a bit. But I don't know, maybe it's Kilgore? Or I don't know, given the armor, it might be Washington from Red vs. Blue, and this is a secret, like, trio crossover. Actually, that would be awesome for all the wrong reasons. We had to see some brief snippets of some team-up shots, action scenes, and that's pretty much the trailer. So, what do you think? Personally, I am hyped. Well, I was excited for the first movie. I enjoyed the hell out of the first movie. And, yeah, I cannot wait for this movie. I do have some things I gotta bring up, though. And with the advantage of, like, this being a week late, I did find out some extra things that I could bring up. So, hey, blessing in disguise. Firstly, there's no sign of anyone from Team Juniper. Which, okay, on one hand, it means no Ren, Nora, and Cyborg, which probably for the best. Because, like, look, they had the whole jealous Blake thing with her, Yang, and Wonder Woman. That was funny. That was great. Ren, Nora, and Cyborg, they took that idea a bit too far. But the big downside to that is, like, there's not going to be a reunion between Jean and Jessica. And, look, those two were a surprise highlight for me in the first movie. Like, their scenes together were some of my favorites. Like, I'm glad we get to see more of Jessica, but at the same time, it's just like, her and Jean reuniting could have been It could have been so sweet. However, a big reason behind that is because, well, okay, turns out these crossovers are canon. For RWBY at the very least, and I guess these versions of the Justice League, it's comics, every single one's a different version. And while Part 1 took place around Volume 7-ish, when they were in Alice, it's been confirmed that Part 2 takes place after Volume 9. So I'm thinking it's basically going to take place after Team RWBY and Jean get back to Remnant. Well, that leads me to wonder, because the whole setup is that the Justice League, like, they see that Grimm are invading Earth, and are like, oh wait, Grimm, they're from Remnant. We know people from Remnant. Let's call them for help. I mean, at the very least, because they know what Grimm are. So, if this takes place after Volume 9, and to avoid any possible Volume 10 spoilers, greenlight Volume 10, does that mean Team RWBY are basically going to abandon Jean in the middle of the desert? That's kind of messed up. Oh, hey, Jean, we're going to be right back. Okay, where are you going? Oh, we're just going to hop to a different universe for a little bit to help him out with a grim problem. Be right back, bye! Nah, it's probably not going to go like that. I'm just having a bit of fun. Also, given everything that RWBY went through in the Ever After, it actually would be pretty neat to see how that affects her in the movie, and who knows, maybe that could, like, come into play when she reunites with Superman. Also, Blake and Yang are a canon couple now. And there was a scene in the first movie where they're just... where Blake brings up to Wonder Woman that she and Yang didn't get along at first, but now... and then they just start blushing. Well, Diana's, like, right there. So I kind of want a scene where, like, the two of them do something that, you know, makes it very apparent they are a couple at this point. And Diana's just like, wow, that didn't take long. Then RWBY, Weiss, and the audience as a whole just hear that and go, you have no idea. It took him a while. However, I do have one gripe with the trailer, and it's something I didn't really think about on my first viewing, but then when it was pointed out, I can't help but not notice it. So, we got close-up shots of RWBY, Blake, and Yang in their new designs. Didn't get one of Weiss, though. Which is... I mean, you can see her new outfit, you just have to, like, really keep an eye out for it. Like, in various, like, group shots. Like, it's not on screen, like, that long and clearly. But... really, like... 3 of them get, like, a cool close-up shot, like, really showing it off, and then Weiss just doesn't. That doesn't seem very fair. Because then again, this is just the trailer. I'm sure she's going to do some cool stuff in the movie. And speaking of Weiss, I continue to hope that they don't do something that they did in a particular comic that I was not a fan of. The less said, the better. But now to speculate on who the mysterious Remnant villain could be. I think it's either going to be Watts, because, like, look, he's an established villain, and, well, yeah, he did die at the end of Volume 8. Not impossible that his body got brought to the DC universe somehow. Like, I don't know, maybe as he was burning, Kilgore, like, made a portal to him somehow, like, snatched him up, and he's in the tank healing, and that's why he's got that suit, or something. Or, what I think would be a very cool twist, it's Dr. Mallow from RWBY Grim Eclipse, who was a villain at some point in the franchise, but he wasn't, like, as fleshed out, really. But he was just in that one game and then never seen again. But something he did do was like make mutated Grimm, kind of like what we see in the movies, so maybe? Plus, he would have a vendetta against Team RWBY, considering they're the ones who destroyed his lab and foiled his plan. So it's a possibility, is all I'm saying. Now, I could go on for a while, but you know what, I'm gonna leave the video there because this thing's probably long enough as it is. So, thank you all for watching. What do you think of the trailer? Are you excited for this movie? And yeah, I don't really have much else. I'm just gonna get going. Here is my Blake outro. Bye. She got wings now.
This is Blake Belladonna with Your Only Mate saying like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.